This story right here went way under the radar, and it was posted on October 1st, 2021. And of course, it would go under the radar because it's Michael Jackson, and they had to do everything they could to try to disparage this man in death. I mean, I'm talking about they have no shame whatsoever. Now, I think the last time we talked about Michael Jackson was probably a few months ago when Wade Robson's his whole life pretty much got shot straight to hell. And that's probably where it's going to be staying buried at. But there was the other guy, James Safechuck, the one that they really don't like to talk that much about, but we're talking about him today. So as you can see, it says Michael Jackson's final accuser case dismissed by LA court, leaving Neverland doc now based on nothing. And this is posted on Showbiz 411. And like I said, the article was posted on October 1st, 2021. And this is the only place that I have seen that has posted this story. Like everything else talks about from stuff from months ago. This is the most recent thing that was posted. So I'm going to go ahead and read this article and see what else they're going to talk about. Michael Jackson is moonwalking in heaven today. The final case against him has been dismissed by a Los Angeles judge. James Safechuck, one of the two men who leveled absurd child molestation allegations against Jackson in the Leaving Neverland documentary, had his case chucked from court. His lawyer was supposed to file an appeal to his last court loss and never did. That's probably because there was nothing to appeal. Safechuck and Wade Robson each participated in the HBO sham known as Leaving Neverland, in which they made unfounded and unsubstantiated claims against Jackson. The filmmaker never gave anyone a chance to respond, nor did he present any other side to the stories. Jackson's estate is currently suing HBO, and the case has been gone to arbitration. In the meantime, both Robson and Safechuck cases filed 7 years ago have been thrown out of court. The case brought by Safechuck was dismissed on demurrer almost a year ago on October 21st, 2020. He had nearly a year to file an appeal and chose not to. He can still appeal this dismissal of. Judge Mark Young wrote, explaining demurrers. When considering demurrers, courts are required to construe the complaint liberally to determine whether a cause of action has been stated, given the assumed truth of the facts pleaded. You can read the judge's complete finding here, which is a link, but I'm not going to click on it. But he didn't buy that Safechuck as a child worked for Michael Jackson or his companies, and that Jackson failed to warn, train, or educate him. Safechuck's case, like that of his pal Wade Robson, was concocted to get money from the Jackson estate because Michael, who died suddenly, failed to leave them anything in a will. The judge wrote that plaintiff, Safechuck, alleged that Jackson was hired by defendants to coach, teach, and mentor minors interested in the entertainment industry. Setting aside plaintiff's allegation that Jackson was the president of both defendants, plaintiff has failed to allege specific acts detailing what such mentorship looked like or was supposed to look like from 1988 through 1992. Safechuck's lawyer, Vince Finaldi, told TMZ the day after losing the case that he would file an appeal immediately. We're going back to court to appeal, and we're going to win this thing, notes Twitter account at MJJ Repository, which has done incredible work keeping track of these cases. More than 11 months later, with 4 months extensions granted, he failed to submit even an opening brief as required to proceed. Another one bites the dust. Well, it looks like the Michael Jackson estate, this is another dub that they're going to be taking. But they knew that they wasn't going to win this thing. Like I said right there, they said they gave James Safechuck's attorney a long time to file an appeal, a year, and gave them an extension. And not in any of those times did an appeal come. Because there, like I said earlier in this video, there was nothing to appeal. There was nothing there. They literally sent them people on a wild goose chase for nothing. And like the title suggests, the Leaving Neverland documentary is now based on nothing. So now that this has come out, now that this is out there, this actually gives Michael Jackson's estate even more wiggle room to sue HBO. They need to sue the damn director of this documentary, and they need to sue James Safechuck and Wade Robson. I'm talking about go for it all. Leave them with nothing. Don't even leave them with dust. Leave them in limbo as far as I'm concerned. Because to do this to a dead man, Michael Jackson has been dead since 2009. It is now 2021. This man has been dead for over a decade. And to continue to do this like he's still alive. Even when he was alive, that was still a lot. But to do this in death is very disrespectful because you didn't get what you felt you deserved. Really? And like I said, I remember Wade Robson. He had that show back in the early 2000s on MTV. I think it was MTV. It was some kind of dance show. Was it America's Next Best Dance Crew? America's Best Dance Crew? Wasn't he over that show? I can't remember if he was over that show or not. I think he was. Now, because I remember seeing him. He was in that movie You Got Served. He, done a lot of choreography for a lot of mainstream artists. And to see him do this, that is absolutely despicable. I hope he never gets a chance to work in Hollywood ever again. At this point, I don't think he has. I think he already burned every bridge that he ever had with this. And as for James Safechuck, who is that? That's a nobody who was trying to get notoriety off of a dead man's name. Just, because, you took a few pictures with Michael Jackson and whatever the case may be. And a lot of people took pictures with Michael Jackson. You don't see them doing this. So I hope that the Jackson estate goes after everybody, every entity, every person, every being involved with this whole sham. And they get them for everything that they possibly can. And while they're at it, go after Oprah, the Mammy Supreme Wig-Free, because she was the one that interviewed these two phonies on some kind of a special to make it seem like Michael Jackson was actually did what he was accused of. After this heifer had Michael Jackson on her show back in the early 90s, claiming that he was her friend and all types of stuff like that. But she says that about a lot of people, but let's be real here. That heifer is as fake as a $3 bill on a Monopoly board. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments.